ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by 4th Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Kelsey Johnson. Welcome to Sports Friday. Just hours after he was elected president of the Bahamas Olympic Committee, Romel Knowles called for healing. He spoke with Julian Gibson and asked for all the federations to come together for the betterment of the sports in the country.
Kelsey, it's a promotion for Romel Knowles from Secretary General of the Bahamas Olympic Committee to President. He beat out Mike Sands last night, 15-8.
We understand in our committee that we're all custodians of the Olympic movement. We don't own the Bahamas Olympic Committee. And we were hell-bent on not taking this organization back through a court battle again. There was an interpretation that says that my president, Mr. Wellington Miller, could run. There was some that says, no, he was statute bar, and that I could have run as Secretary General, and then there's some that said we were statute bar. And we decided collectively as a committee, my executive board came to the conclusion, we're not going to a court fight. We respect the values of the Olympic movement, and Mr. Wellington Miller said he don't want this for our organization. He's led it with distinction, and he said that he will move himself aside and nominated me against the executive committee to be his replacement.
Did you expect to win 15-8?
Yes. Our intelligence told us that we had the support of the majority of the federations. They enjoyed the work we do on their behalf. We've been very accommodating.
Now moving forward, first order of business for Romel Knowles is?
The election for me is over. There are 8 federations that don't believe in our leadership, and it's my job as the leader and our executive committee. My Secretary General is Duran, who just won, and we will do what's best for sport. This isn't about the politics. It's unfortunate that it became political because now there's the elections, but for us this is about developing and growing sports.
Secretary General for the Bahamas Olympic Committee is a new young face, Duran Donaldson.
I'm just hanging in there, just trying to do putting myself in positive surroundings and good things are happening. But I look at this, promotion by the General Assembly in here as an opportunity to, one, provide better service to the organization and also a learning service to myself and the country.
15-8, did you expect that margin of victory?
Not really. I kept in the back of my head, to be honest, but you don't want to go into anything overconfident. And so I just, when I spoke to some of the delegates before the actual election, I just said to them, I want you to vote for me based on my work that you've seen me done. And given the Commonwealth Youth Games, I met a lot more federations and associations, and I felt that I worked hard with my chef de mission team, and I impressed even a lot of them that didn't know me as president of tennis.
Reporting for ZNS Total Sports, I am Julian Gibson.
Thank you so much, Julian. Joining me live in studio is one of the 6 newly elected vice presidents in the Bahamas Olympic Committee, Mr. Robert Butler, who's also the president of the Bahamas Taekwondo Federation. Welcome, sir.
Thank you much.
If you can just give us a little background knowledge on Taekwondo and how did it get into the Olympics, and I know you guys are trying to actually qualify for the upcoming 2020 Olympics.
We're hoping to have an athlete 2, 3, or 4. It's not as easy as it may seem. The unfortunate thing with the martial arts in the Olympics is that you have to be a black belt. Taekwondo, for example, in order to get a black belt, you're looking at minimum of 3 to 5 years. So you've got so many years to wait. We're not like other sports where you can go in and in 2 months you can compete once you've qualified. You've got to get that black belt, then you have to qualify. For example, CAC games are next year, July, August. The qualifiers are coming up pretty soon. I've got 2 athletes. We'll see what we can do with these guys.
And what has the interest been like for Taekwondo, the sport, a new sport on the BOC?
Well, Taekwondo's been here literally since the 80s.
Wow.
It died, and it was revived somewhere back in 95, 94, 93. And it's been going ever since. We're a small federation. It's not easy to keep athletes. It's a demanding sport. So I don't know, kicking, you're using your legs a lot. You need to be flexible. You need to be strong. And a lot of people, I guess, sometimes are afraid to get hit. They might want to hit back, but they're afraid to get hit. So, Taekwondo is just not it's more of a transient sport. I've been doing it, started in college. Been doing it since '91, and I used to compete in the U.S. And just never told anybody I did it. So it's not one of the easier sports to stay in with. Yeah.
All right, final question. When, where, and what time do you train?
Train, we have a gym at the Town Center Mall. I teach adults there. We do have two other instructors, Basil Damianos and Chino Dorset. They have their specific times. My classes for adults are 6 o'clock to 7:30. I also teach kids down at the Windsor Prep on the west side. There's another, Chino Dorset has another school just off the Farrington Road area. Can't remember the name of it, but so we do have athletes. We do have we do have upcoming potentials with kids. There's a lot. I can sit here and talk all night about Taekwondo, trying to get athletes, trying to keep athletes, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, thank you so much for joining us live and giving us some background and information on Taekwondo, a growing sport in the Bahamas.
Taekwondo.
Do you know what the national sport is? Do you know when and where it's played? Those are just two questions on a long list persons in the local sporting fraternity usually ask while pushing their favorite discipline ahead.
Looking at the core sports as they have been identified so far in the Bahamas, and to look at whether or not we need to expand that. This discussion about national sport comes up on a fairly regular basis, and it sometimes it's in vogue and it goes out. Sailing has been one of those areas identified for many years as the national sport of the country. Other federations are now making the case that they should function as a national sport, that they have greater reach in their view. As far as we're concerned, all of them could go ahead and make the case. We welcome that vigorous debate. We would love to see the proposal. We love to see the statistics in terms of how many Bahamians are participating on one level or another in the various sports.
The first two games played in the islands of the Bahamas Showcase went down to the wire. Bradley University was hoping to capitalize on the missed free throw by Vermont's Trey Bell Haynes, but Dante Thomas missed the jumper, and Vermont Catamounts went on to win 65-64. Bell Haynes scored 18 points in the win. Coastal Carolina having their way with UTS today, they cruised to an 83-69 victory. The players and their families are not playing in paradise, but they will always get a chance and enjoy the island at what it has to offer. The Bahama Resort is the tournament's headquarters and also the athletes' village.
This week alone here at Bahamar, we'll place nearly 1,000 room nights.
I so love
it's nothing to take lightly. Especially for a new resort that's getting off the ground. What a great way to market it organically with a new event. Not only does it do that, but we're impacting 8 different markets year over year. 32 markets every 4 years will be impacted. We hope these guys come back in 4 years. That's what you're allowed to do in the NCAA is visit a particular location once every 4. But think about that. 32 different U.S. markets every 4 years will know all about Nassau because of their basketball programs. And when their fans can come down and be a part of it, a few of which we have here in the room today, it just continues to grow, and the word about the Bahamas and the culture, the beautiful people, the friendliness of the people, the warmth of this entire nation really gets put on display, and it starts breeding more and more future tourism.
Multiple Carifta champion and Florida State committed swimmer Isaac Bastian was named CBS 12 Boca Raton Athlete of the Week. The Florida State 100 breast champion for 2017 won that event earlier this month with the second best time ever recorded. The breaststroke specialist is also an All-American in the 50 free and one of the best ever in school history in the 200 IM. Isaac will swim for Florida State University next year and hopes to win one day swim in the Olympics. He says he is excited about being named CBS 12's Athlete of the Week.
Really an honor to be named CBS 12 Athlete of the Week because, it shows that my hard work is paying off and people are noticing the things I'm making, the strides that I'm making. It's also important to me because it shows that not only am I making a difference at home, but I'm also making a difference here. So people are noticing me here and I'm building my reputation and kind of my legacy as I go.
Leo Roll is one of 7 persons who were just inducted into the National Sports Hall of Fame today. Tonight, our Part 2 series with the former national tennis player continues. Here's Charles Fisher.
Leo Roll is considered the trendsetter for young tennis players, having first crack on the international circuit in the early 70s, the first Bahamian to do so. He won many local and Caribbean tournaments, but one thing kept him from making the big swing on the tour.
My problem was I didn't have money. That was my putback in tennis. I didn't have finance. I sponsored myself, as a matter of fact. I taught tennis here. When summer came, I checked my pocket, and if I can afford to play 5 tournaments overseas, I jump on the plane, I played 5 tournaments, and come back to work.
He would always remember an advice he got from one of the best players ever.
I never forget what Ash said to me one day. Say, Leo, so every time I look around, I see your name, blah, 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 then I don't see your name for 6, 10 months. But the little you did know, I didn't have money to stay out there to play like him and the others. But considering that was the case, I did exceptionally well because I never lost in the first round of any tournament, overseas that is. Always in the quarters, semis, finals, or win. And teaching tennis most of the time, all day. So that says something. That if I did have funds, I could have gone a lot further than I did.
As for if he passes on his knowledge to the players of this generation?
And if I do have time, I go down to the National Tennis Center and have a peek and see what's going on. And a few of our kids are doing well, considering that money is the key to, especially today. Even when I was playing, finance was the key to keep you on the court and good coaching and that sort of thing. So we're lacking that a little bit. So if the parent don't have the funds to put behind the kid or an uncle or a relative or anybody who has an interest in loving tennis, he will never move as far as we are capable of getting.
His next birthday, he will be 70 and still going young.
Someone asked me, Leo, when are you going to retire? I told him I'll retire when I start working. I can't quit tennis. Tennis feeds me, educate my kids, pay for my home, keep me young. Why quit? And I getting paid to exercise, teaching tennis.
Leo Roll, a national sports hero. For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Charles Fisher.
Thank you so much, Fisher. Well, that's all the time we have for sports. I'm Kelsey Johnson.